I'm just gonna jump us right in because it's 1 o'clock and I want, everybody here to sort of get acclimated to how I like to work, which is like jump right in, try to get to every single item that's on the bulletin, which I will explain, and really like create a collaborative but progress-oriented kind of space, meaning, you know, it's conversational, it's discussion, it's Q&A, it's me trying to offer some things that have worked for me. I'm sure I'm also going to be learning from y'all. But I really, I want people to feel like there's a momentum that grows for themselves here. And so I'll jump right in. So the first thing I want to do, and there are more trickling in here, is the first thing I want to do is just set this up, which is that I would love it if anybody who wants to ask a question or bring up a particular topic, drop it in the chat so that there is a running sort of bulletin that I can always go back to when it's time to move on to the next section. I also like that because it prevents just whoever has the loudest voice or the most like, bravado from just like jumping in all the time. Because funnily enough, like in most rooms, I'm not that person. So I always feel like somebody else is jumping over me. Um, and we're gonna start here. I want to do a lightning round of just like, hi, I am so and so, I do this, and I want to get and just say like one or two discrete things that you want to get out of being a part of these Q&As. And then I'm gonna go on to the next person, and then we're gonna get going on the bulletin. So I'll go first. I'm Chad. I am an author. I am a podcaster, a public speaker. At this point, some people call me an influencer, which I honestly is an identity I want to embrace because I do think that's a big part of the future of Hollywood. I am a storyteller, and now I'm an information merchant, for lack of a better way to describe it. So, I am here because I let's start with joy. I just get like such a green light, such a big, joyful feeling out of connecting with people who are hungry. I am like a New York rodent, like one of these things that scurries around in the middle of the night. Like that's how I feel about the chase of the independent storyteller's path. And so when I see that light go on in other people, I feel like I feel connected to somebody. So that's the reason why I'm here on that side. And then on a very tactical side, like my industry has blown up and I'm trying to find better ways to make a living than shuffling myself in and out of pitch meetings, trying to, shell off screenplays because right now that's a really archaic form of this business. And so I'm trying to find a new way to build business. And one of those ways to do it is to meet people like you all and try to offer you things that you want or need on your path. So that's why I'm here. Quickly, honestly, faster than I just did it because I took up too much time. Henry, could you go next? I'm just going down the list of names that I see here on the right. Henry, could you go next?
Yes. Am I asking a question? I'm sorry, I just hopped in.
Please, can you say your name,
Yeah.
what you do, and just one thing that you're here to get out of these live Q&As, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Henry. I'm an actor, I'm a writer. And one thing I want to get out of this is learning how to perfect my pitch and um, exposing myself to the right people.
Beautiful. Alex C., could you please go next? Where are you, Alex C.?
There we
Are
go.
you
Can you
out
hear
there?
me? Yeah,
Yes,
I'm trying to
sir.
figure this out. Okay, I missed the beginning. I'm so sorry. What am I just
Please
introducing?
just tell us your name, why you're here. I'm sorry, your name, what you do, and why you're here. One thing that you want to get out of these live Q&As.
Gotcha. Okay, so my name is Alex. By profession, believe it or not, I'm a pharmacist. But I'm hoping to get out of this. I'm basically hoping to, continue to get pretty good. You give pretty good insight on IG and you're pretty transparent. So basically get more insight into how I'd be able to transition into a more creative-based career.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. All right, let's go to iPhone. Whoever is iPhone, I don't see your name there, but whoever is logged on from an iPhone, could you go next, please? All right, maybe not. We're gonna move on to Jamil.
Peace, everyone. My name is Jamil, a filmmaker, director, rapper, traveler based in Seattle, and I'd like to understand a couple things. One is a personal question about a project that I'm working on, Curry in a Hurry, and the second is how I can present myself socially online so my viewers know the plethora of what I'm doing without confusing them.
Wonderful.
Thanks.
You're in the right place. All right, Jose, could you go next?
Yeah, everybody. My name's Jose. I'm a documentarian filmmaker, drone, licensed drone pilot. Basically, I work in the civil rights movement and underserved communities. So basically, I don't have a too many questions. The only thing, Chad, like I said, the same guy, somebody else said that I follow you on IG. I feel like you could open up a little bit more doors once we get that, the onions start peeling back. And again, just to be other creatives, as I love to collaborate instead of this toxic culture of competing.
That's beautiful. All right, thank you, Jose. Lawrence, you're up next.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Lawrence. I'm a writer, I'm a Substacker, I'm a DJ, and I'm also a recovering addict. I'm here to just learn more about how to market myself better and how to basically make more connections within the industry and yeah, just learn.
That's awesome. Lawrence was I think, the only person in the room now who was here last week. And so, Lawrence, I want you to actually, could you get yourself ready at the end of these intros? I'm going to ask you in 2 minutes or fewer to just tell everybody the exercise that you've been working on since the last time we met and give a report back, emotional and outcome based, about how that's been for you. So, I'm going to come back to you. Is it Masika?
Yes, hi.
Hey.
Uh, hey, so I'm Masika McCormick from Georgia. I'm in Georgia from Milwaukee. And I am a writer, producer, director in marketing. Started my marketing agency. And I'm looking to see how I can get myself in front of the right people to pitch my decks and my Bibles and pitch decks and whatnot.
Okay,
Mm.
that's awesome. I'm glad you're saying that because that is a question that I get that I get nonstop in the chats right now. Minimal encourager, who is that? And what does that mean? Oh, that's Mo. Wait, okay. Go ahead.
How you guys doing? I'm Minimal Encourager. That's the name of my IG, TikTok, YouTube, you name it. Um, what I do is most mental health based channels focus on generating, understanding, generating sympathy. This does not resonate with me. I do not want understanding. I do not want sympathy. I want to live a life of dignity, of power, of strength. So this is about shedding the need for external approval, shedding the need for understanding from normies. I have bipolar disorder. I told my parents I wanted to die when I was 6. And it's sort of been a constant theme in my life. And so these videos are a way for me, it's like talking about the weather, right? It disturbs other people. For me, it's not. So I have me talking on the top and I make a funky beat on the bottom because I'm good at music as well. To like show people like you can have fun, you can talk about this, like suicide exists. It's not like it shouldn't be a surprise. And so it's to create like a good vibe while talking about difficult things. That's what I do. What I'm here to try and get towards, I feel like there's always been I always feel, oh, I'm so close, but I'm not there. So I just want to tackle that. And I think a big part of that is learning from all of you, seeing how all of you manage creativity in life. And I think, using that, to propel me forward. So that's what we're gonna do.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. And then I think we have one last who is Ozzy or Ozzy. Ozzy?
Yep, it's Ozzy. Greetings. I am a filmmaker, actor, writer, producer. I'm also a musician. And I also watch you on IG from time to time. Basically, I'm here for community is the main thing. I've already seen people in the chat already who, drone operator. I want to build relationships with people who maybe I have a service for them, maybe they have a service for me. As far as it is with you, it's like some of the other people have mentioned. You have more experience with pitching and things like that. So I'm definitely wanting to soak that up from you and, participate and give whatever I can as well.
That's awesome. Okay. Thank you all so much for that. It's helpful and enlightening for me to just see the people that are in this room and get a sense of what you're here for. And I'm gonna try to make sure every single person gets that. All right, Lawrence, in 2 minutes, can you please explain the exercise that you set off for after our first live Q&A, which was last week, where 2 people showed up, and today there's 11 people, which is fire. So, Lawrence, can you go ahead and tell everybody what you did and how that has been for you?
Yes. So Chad gave me a challenge because, I'm used to just writing most of the time. And I had tried to be more vocal on social media, like showing my face and doing videos. And I felt like everything had to be perfectly edited. It had to be like really polished. And his kind of like real approach on social media inspired me. So he gave me just advice and he said, I want you to do a 10-day challenge, pretty much like for 10 days straight, just make a video. And I was like, okay. So I did it. And, you know, I increase in my social. I saw like not even just like, followers, but I saw like different types of people engaging with me based on what I was talking about. Like I made a video and I was quoting or reciting the poem from Antoine Fisher. Next day Antoine Fisher followed me. Then I made a video about Marlon Peterson's book Bird Uncaged, where I was talking about that. He commented and he reshared it. And there's different metrics. So it's like not every metric, is gonna be this has 1,000 likes, but then you'll get metrics like that based on whatever you're talking about. And that type of stuff has, kept me going and helped me see the value in just telling my story and being more vocal. Because before I started making videos, not too many people knew I was a recovering addict. And now I have people who are interested in that part of my journey. And I have people who are interested in my writing. So it's definitely improved my, I feel like, I don't want to say brand, but people's idea of me and why they should, why my story is important. And it's definitely been helpful. And I've continued after the 10 days. So, so it's really cool.
I've seen you continue that, and I want to give my own testimony to it. I've watched the videos. I've watched you become more comfortable in front of the camera. I've watched you tinker with your captions and also with your like the captions on the video and also the captions in the body of the thing. And it's the process, it's the everyday setting down to it that over time makes it grow. And I think to sort of speak to where I'm at on this journey myself, I was resistant to use this vehicle to reach people. I was doing the exact same thing. I see the first question in the chat, which is going to dovetail well here, but I was doing the exact same thing, which is trying to make something that I thought was great and then go piece together the network to get it to the place that I needed it to go. And maybe 7 months ago, I started taking Instagram more seriously as a place to document my journey. And as a result, I've gotten 30,000 new followers in the last 7 months. They're human beings, not bots. I haven't paid for a single one of those bundles of, get 5,000 followers for $10 or whatever. But like they're people. And so some of them are the people in this room. Some of them are people who I wasn't even looking for, who I didn't know could help me on my journey, from the big name types, A-list celebrity types, to the type of person who says, hey, I edit videos. Can I do a couple of them for free for you for the exposure? Or, hey, I'm an event planner. Can I help you work on your book tour? That kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to keep coming back to, that layer of this experience, but that's really what I want to happen for y'all, and I want it to keep happening for me. Now, before I get to the chat, I also realized, is this how people live? I forgot to ask the one person who I know in real life to introduce himself, which is Ed down there. So Ed, can you just say who you are, what you do, and what you're hoping to get out of this experience?
Hey, Chad, man, listen, I'm here for the entertainment, bottom line. We talk 18 times a day, and I love it. So my name is Ed. I'm in Oakland, California. I'm a teacher and a girl dad. I I'm very much a not a creative. I want to learn how to be more creative. I want to learn how to get my voice out there. And I love what you're building, Chad, obviously, because we've talked about it for a long, long time. And I'm excited that this is here. I think this is a really cool environment. I'm so excited to get to know everyone here. And yeah, I'll shut up now. You do you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ed. And just to contextualize, I've known Ed for 15 plus years now. He was my first coach and mentor at Google and has stayed in that role in my life, along with friend and damn near brother and all this other stuff, like since that time. But one reason why I'm happy that he's here is he can keep me honest. Like there's somebody sitting right there in one of those boxes who will know if I'm not being real with you all. So that's the standard that I like to hold myself to. So let's keep it going. All right, we're jumping right in. We did it. We know each other. We know who each other is. All right, let's get right to it. Masika, right?
Yes.
Yes. How did you get executive producers and how did you pitch your film? All right. So I have sold 2 TV shows and 2 feature films. The executive producers who I I get 4 executive producers: Spike Lee, Terrence J, Morgan Freeman, Will Packer. Okay. The way that I got to each one of those people, I'm gonna consolidate it, but it will be honest. Okay. I used to write my first TV pilot ever. I wrote this sitting in a coffee shop called Baba Cool over in Fort Greene. I live in Queens now, but I used to live in Park Slope in New York. I used to wake up and walk every day to this coffee shop in Fort Greene called Baba Cool. Right across the street from that coffee shop is 40 Acres and a Mule Filmworks, which is Spike Lee's studio. First TV pilot. You guys, some of y'all have bought it. It's in the school group. It was, and this is an important lesson. This was an important lesson to me about format. Formatting wise, there are Hollywood types who would tell you, oh, like it should have been more, the act breaks should have been here, or the dialogue took too much of this page up and down it. But the point was it was raw and is full of feeling, it is full of point of view, it is full of my own voice. And each one of us has a voice that's unlike anyone else's. One day, sitting in front of that coffee shop, every now and then I would see Spike shuffling around Brooklyn. That's the experience if you live in anywhere near Fort Greene in Brooklyn, is you will see Spike Lee out. He walks like a cricket. Like he has a powerful but very like compact walk. I see him sitting over outside the coffee shop. This is probably maybe the 3rd or 4th time I've seen him in this neighborhood. I go over and introduce myself. My entryway is he went to the same college I went to. I say, hey, I went to Morehouse College. He says, in so many words, sit down, puts his BlackBerry phone down, talks to me about the journey. I still don't send this man my TV pilot because I'm too shy. I don't even think I mentioned it at that point in time. It turned out that I knew somebody also from my college who had a line to Spike, but getting a line to Spike is like, it's like trying to throw a quarter into a cup in the middle of the ocean. It's like you're just taking a Hail Mary. One day I'm sitting in the barber's chair and I get a phone call from an unknown New York number. It's Spike Lee. He says, hey, your friend passed along your screenplay to me. Come meet me at 40 Acres and a Mule. I go meet him there maybe 2 or 3 days later, maybe a week later. I can't remember exactly. Walk inside. He has the entire thing redlined, the entire script. What I am saying, and then at that point, flies me out to Hollywood, and together we go and pitch it at a bunch of different networks and studios, right? At that point, he is my executive producer. I am consolidating the story for the sake of brevity and time, but again, with Ed as my witness, it was that much of a sort of mind-blowing, confusing, fast, dreamy experience because I'm living on a mattress on the floor in a 1-bedroom apartment, right? So that's Spike. Now, at that point in time, and I'm trying to answer your question in a way that gives the answer that I think is the truth, which is it happens differently every single time. Now, at that point in time, I had agents, but I did not have PR. or marketing or really a big team of any kind around me making things happen, but I had Spike attached to my project, which we hadn't even sold yet. I took that information that I had Spike attached to my project. I took it to the only PR agent that I had ever met. And I said, in so many words, can you get me some coverage for this story? And she was able to take that information and sell it to, I can't remember if it was Variety or the Hollywood Reporter. I think it was Variety, which got me a nice big page with my face next to Spike Lee's face and the news that we were shopping this story. I'm saying that to say, just like I'm going to encourage all of you all to use your socials, this game is based on images and moving images. It is based on storytelling. At that point in time, people in the industry, like a Morgan Freeman, like a Will Packer, like a Terrence J, started to understand that this guy is somebody who can make a project that can get a big headline. And at that point, once you can make a project with a big headline, that's like 95% of the way to selling a project, if I'm honest, is just making people believe in and invest in the story of your story. So from there, I get a reach out from Terrence J. He becomes an executive producer for a movie that I had written with him. He has an overall deal at Viacom. We sell it to Viacom. From there, I meet a guy named Chris Spencer, who's a comedian who takes me to, I'm riding around in a car with Chris Spencer and he says, hey, you want to come to my pitch meeting at Morgan Freeman's production company? I'm out of town. I'm in LA. I don't even live there. I'm like, yeah, sure. We come up with a pitch in the car and pitch it in the room. Morgan Freeman takes it out with us to Peacock. Chris Spencer also has a relationship with Will Packer. So do I. Will Packer's an alpha. I'm an alpha. But here's the point. If I can just take one step back, that sounds crazy, right? As I'm saying it out loud, I know it sounds crazy, but the repeatable steps here are that I found a way to tell a story every single time I had space in front of somebody. And the story was, I'm the guy who can write the thing that you can sell. In other words, we can sell something together. And if push came to shove and they asked me to prove it by showing them the product, I had the faculties to make the product, which was write a pilot. In today's day and age, if somebody were asking me to go and write the pilot so that we could take it out and shop it, I would say, well, could I do it with a pitch and a short proof of concept instead of writing the whole pilot on spec? But please help me if I didn't, but I hope I answered the question, which is, how did you get executive producers? By putting myself out there, by being in good places to be. And I want to be clear that 8 years ago, being in good places to be meant something physically. Today, being in good places to be means something digitally, which is why I have changed my own personal approach from lingering in coffee shops across from studios to doing what I'm doing right now and what you guys see me doing on social media every day. I met Cedric the Entertainer on social media. I met Dax Shepard, Brene Brown, Julie Bowen because of my digital presence. So this is the answer to the question. Is that helpful, Masika?
Yes, it is. Thank you. I took a lot of notes.
Okay, great. I'm going to move on to the next question. Questions on my personal brand and my creative project, Curry in a Hurry. Do you want to give a little bit more context? I'm familiar with what you're talking about, Jamil, but do you want to give some more context?
Sure. So about 10 years, just real quick on Curry in a Hurry, we can start there. So 10 years ago, I got stoned and wrote a rap song about cooking curry very fast. I'm Indian American, so that was like kind of the thing. We made it to a little local music video here in Seattle and did really well locally. People really dug it. Got on some radio, this is 10 years ago, so it was a different kind of approach. About 5 years ago, I pitched it at the Seattle Film Festival for a pitch contest. I kind of walked on and won. COVID hit immediately, and I pitched it as a sitcom, actually. So it's a comedy idea. The pitch won, and COVID happened, so they threw me into all these writing rooms and producer things, and I got connected with everybody via Zoom and met a bunch of people. And inevitably, all of them were just like, go make the thing you want to make. And, have fun and enjoy the thing and make the thing you want to make. Since then, so much has changed as far as how content is made, consumed, produced, things of that nature, that my approach on it now is basically I'm trying to figure out what's going to be the best approach for it now. So hopefully that gives folks a little bit of background on that project.
Okay. And you also said questions on your personal brand. Can you give some context?
Yeah,
Where are you at with your personal brand?
So basically, to kind of like also, Curry in a Hurry is one of my projects. I'm also a filmmaker. I'm a rapper. I'm a documentary filmmaker. I just finished a huge tour last year where I filmed me van lifing it from Seattle down to New Mexico to learn about sustainable housing. And then I interviewed a bunch of like indigenous people along the way in the reservations about sustainability and eco-conscious living. So it's like a totally different brand and feeling, but it's kind of where my energy has been going as I get older. It's more about service and more about sustainability and demonstrating the solutions that we might need as human beings on Earth. So it's kind of a lot different than like let's rap about curry and make jokes about it. So with that, I kind of have these various elements of who I am. And I know that being online, it can be confusing on how you brand yourself. So I'm just kind of curious on how I can optimize all the things that I'm doing without confusing people coming on my page. Right now, I'm completely dead. I'm completely silent. I've been kind of just doing things on my own and waiting to kind of reemerge from the bat cave, so to speak. But now that I have these projects in line and I'm ready to release stuff, I'm just wondering what's the best way that I can do that.
Okay, so I hear a few things. The first thing I want to ask just to the group that I'm reflecting back that I hear here is how many people in this room, just raise a hand, feel some level of confusion or fear about how they show up in social media? I see one hand. I see only one hand. What for the rest of the people who didn't raise a hand, I see two hands. For the rest of the people who didn't raise a hand, Lawrence, okay. Some confusion. You look confused, but maybe not.
I was trying to figure out how to press the button.
Okay. Let me just do a quick around the room real quick. I want y'all to give me just in one or two words, how do you feel about your social media presence? Let's go Jose first.
I I'm not that. I'm sorry if it's more than two words, but I'm just not that social when it comes to social media. I'm better person networking in person. So I'm old school. So I know that I'm trying, but we'll get more deeper in another time. But I just don't know if I like what do I do? In other words, how do I got a lot going on, just like Jamil said. I mean I do a lot, and we could go deeper into that, but it's like how do I do or what do I concentrate on to make it simpler?
Okay. Masika, how do you feel about your social presence?
I'm working on more. I made like a AI, making AI stuff to make myself look different and post things. So just more using AI a lot more. So I'm working on that, just improving more of that.
Okay. I'll just do one more randomly. Ozzy, you're at the front of my screen right now.
I'd say sometimes I overthink it. You know what I'm saying? Like I have been more present online in the past, I would say month or two.
Mhm.
Um, but sometimes I'm like, it needs to be perfect. And, am I going to get too political for them today? Like, I just have to streamline it and be like, like that 10-day challenge that you gave to my man, like doing something like that. I'm good at like, if I set a goal, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think my thing is just not being so nonchalant about it and taking it more serious, you know?
Okay. Will you do that 2-day challenge, 10-day challenge? If I just said, would you do it? Will you do
Absolutely.
it? Okay.
Absolutely.
Ozzy, can you do it? And then tell us how it goes at the next one of these?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. All right. Jamil, sorry, back to you. I just wanted to kind of like survey the room and get a sense of how people feel about their own social media presences here. Um, I am going to just talk about quickly my own journey with this tool, which uh forgive me for being a little bit convicted here, but I think despite the varying points of view on social media, I now, having gone through this journey, know for certain that if anybody in this room took seriously their social media presence, not to say that you're not already, but if you do, and if you are consistent, and if you find a way to have a clarity of voice, image, and thought, you will like you will transform your creative path. Like you will be a person who is turning down meetings if you just do it seriously for probably a year is how long I think it would take for most people to reveal a new path for themselves. Jamil, can I ask you some follow-up questions about social media?
Shoot.
Here's one in particular. So I heard you mention, and Jose said he has a similar situation. I heard you mention these are the many hats that I wear. And naturally, like you're a human being, you have many dimensions. Of course, you have many talents and gifts. How do you want people to receive you when they come across you in a digital space?
It's a great question. I think, and that changes as I get older. Like right now, I'm kind of stepping into I kind of want to be less about, like, I still want to be entertaining and still do the entertaining thing, but I'm kind of maturing into like guiding in a way, if that makes sense. Or let's say passing the mic. So I'm still involved. I'm still that dude, but I'm now utilizing my abilities to amplify different stories and different narratives of people doing really incredible work, whether it be comedy or music or sustainability kind of stuff. So I kind of see myself now being more fluid in that regard, and connecting people with different various ideas while still maintaining a brand of, he's a rapper, he's a comedian, he does that kind of stuff.
And when people, can you put yourself in somebody else's eyeballs? They stop on your page, they scroll,
Mm,
they land on something you've put up. Um, Look at them through their eyeballs. A complete stranger, not even somebody in this room who heard anything that you've shared.
okay.
Who do they see there? Like describe the person they see through their eyes. And what is that person being told to do next with that information?
Okay. They're going to be seeing a really dynamic individual, someone who is just action oriented and is doing a lot, and is hyper creative and is utilizing social media and or content creation to do really innovative things. Kind of like cutting edge and dynamic would be the and big energy, I guess, big energy. As far as what are they being asked to do, everything from check out his Spotify to peep this YouTube video to fund this social cause.
Okay, are those things happening at a rate and at a volume that makes you happy?
Well, right now, like I'm ghost, right now I'm ghost on social media. I had a lot of success, especially locally in the last 10, 15 years, where I was pretty influential before influencers were a thing, just in my community and just kind of around the area. So I know kind of what my composition is about to some extent. But I'm ghost, so I'm kind of like this is really like a new phase that I'm re-emerging with. So I really don't know just yet. This is where I'm kind of in like okay, the new version of Jamil is coming out.
Jamil, you still there?
Yes.
Okay,
Did you hear
sorry.
me?
Yeah, you went Matrix for a second. All right. So the
Sorry.
challenge is you're trying to decide who you want someone to see as you reemerge on the platform.
Yeah, I think what it is like, how do I take, let's say there's three or four things that I'm doing, right? I'm
Mhm.
rapping, I'm talking about shit, just kind of like you do, just, the commentary about things. I'm putting out films and projects that I'm working on with other people. And I'm also doing that are narrative. And then I'm also doing like these almost like Anthony Bourdain goes eco influencer type vibe. And so with all of that, I'm like, how do I present myself online where there's some consistency there, right? There's a branded image there where someone's like, okay, this is what I'm getting when I go to this page, you know? So to the point where like someone's not like, oh damn, this is like this strip mall, you know, like where am I doing? As opposed to like, okay, this is McDonald's, you know, like we're getting burgers, we're getting fries. Now I might not be that McDonald's, like that specific, you know, like that's what we're all doing. It might be kind of like a Kmart, you know, where you can get some food and you can get some shoes and you can, but you know, like, I mean, Kmart is probably where you want to, it's cheaper shit. So I'm just kind of wondering, how do I put myself out there where, I optimize all these various things that I'm doing and people don't get confused and they kind of know what they're getting when they hop on.
Okay. So I'm gonna ask. Jose's had his hand raised for a second. And I want to get there. I'm about to get there. I want to offer one thing that has helped me considerably in the last year with this same challenge that I have for myself, right? I'm always going to write my bio and I'm like, what do I write here? I have authored 3 books. I'm a TV writer. I'm still pitching and selling stuff. I'm a podcaster. Many of us work in many disciplines at this point. What do I say here? And the thing that has helped me sharpen that and find the answer often, and it's something that Ed helped me with, is thinking about the person who has landed on the page. What is in service of them? And you said service earlier. Like, what are you offering
Hmm.
them, and how can you signal to them that it's here and that and then direct them exactly where to go for it? For the last 3 months, actually for the last 9 months, promoting my book was the most important thing in my life for me because I had taken so much I had learned and I wanted to offer it to people who were stumbling on my page, which matched the videos that you guys were finding on my page. Now that process is sort of behind me. I have to decide, I have to commit to something. I guess that's really what I'm saying here is yes, I have all sorts of different, interests and skills, I think, and I'm going to offer them as often as I feel good about them on my socials. Um, but I need somebody, I started with this Hacking Hollywood group because I saw a critical mass form of people who were following me who wanted to learn how do you get from where I'm at in Hollywood to where I want to be 2 years from now, 7 years from now, 2 months from now. And I have to make some level of a commitment to those people in the way that I present myself on socials to get them along for the ride. I'm still going to put out music, but I don't know if anybody's looking for that when they come to my page. Maybe a small group of people are that will grow and then eventually I can form them into something. But I think what I'm hearing, and I didn't want to like pick you because it felt unfair, but for the next person who says like this kind of thing to me, I'm gonna ask someone else in the room to go pull up their Instagram, and I want them to tell me who do you see in front of you and what are they signaling for you to do? Because I think that's the exercise is, as I'm sure you know, as an artist, the exercise is empathy. The exercise is what is that person on the other side of the screen looking for when they come to see me? That's the connection that you're trying to form there. Okay, I'm sorry, Jose, that was long-winded. Can you please go for it, man?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I raised my hand because I want to kind of clarify again without taking the floor for too long. So
Mhm.
Jamil is kind of like the same. I have the same storyline, right? So background, I have a 9 to 5. I come from an electronic background, so electronic engineering, electrician. So I do energy efficiency as we speak now. So this is what fuels my passion. I always wanted to be a filmmaker since I was 13. And you said Spike, and that's who I grew up wanting to, kind of emulate. I'm from New York, Washington Heights, do the right thing, right? We could talk more. I could talk, but so I have 5 different pages, right? I have a nonprofit. I got my Pachardo Productions, which gears and shows reels of what I do. But I also restore old cars. I also have I'm part owner of a music studio. So I have all these avenues. So what I did was I kind of put them all. I do a little bit on each, but the main focus is my production company. And why? Because again, I'm a civil rights movement documentarian, underserved community. So I do a lot of work in the Mississippi Delta. I work with Emmett Till's last surviving folks. I got not just me. I'm not. My team has a documentary coming out that's going to be in curriculum that an Ivy League school and a university. So a lot of these things we've done, kind of with the resources we got through academia. So I wanted to kind of tune in that part. So I understand Jamil because I try to again the biggest thing is to give back, and that's the most rewarding. I don't really care about the acclimates. It's more about how do I continue to grow this out, right? So we could go deeper into that. And I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure I said that part. But so I understand, and that's why when I said I am I doing the right thing by just concentrating on the production company, or I don't have the means to pay more people to do more work, is what I'm saying.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jose. We're going to go on to the next question, which is about daily routine. What's your daily routine? How do you manage life, eating, sleep? How do you wrestle time creatively? Is your goal setting daily, weekly, other? This is a great question. I love how detailed it is. In essence, how do I smooth the bumps of life to make my dreams possible? What do you look? Oh, and then this is a different question. All right, let's start there. This is a question about daily routine, which it's funny, I was very routine resistant for literally years of my life and very recent years, honestly. Um, and lately I have become, I always talk about, again with Ed, I always talk about creating the mousetrap for me is very important. Creating a system, and I'm going to try to find a better metaphor for it because system is an overused word in some places, but creating a routine that not just allows me to be creative and to reach audience and to monetize and do all these things, but frankly, that forces it on me on some level. That is almost makes those things inevitable. Okay. So my daily routine generally looks like this. I wake up, and I'm going to be dead honest with you all. I wake up around 9:30 to 10 o'clock a.m. I have no kids. Um, I go make coffee and make breakfast. Before about noon every single day, I know that something has to go out. My voice, my face, a message has to go out. And I have given myself pretty strict requirements on how long I can take producing that thing that's going to go out. All right. That might mean I got to make a video with the phone in under 30 minutes, which means fewer than 10 takes, which means whatever that thing is in the morning, a news clip, somebody texted me, an idea that I had the day before that formed overnight, whatever that thing is, I have to I have to get it into the phone and get it out to people in under a half an hour. Because by noon, the next thing I'm doing on most days is going to work out. We're going to play basketball. That's at 1 o'clock. I'm in and out of there between 1 and 3 o'clock. I'm back, on the way there, outside the gym, somewhere, something else, another video must be produced and must go out because there's a volume and a rhythm and a consistency to this game that the algorithm just being the machine and the people on the other side of it rewards. So I have to make 2 to 5 videos a day. That is a requirement. Okay. I get back home. I eat something briefly. I usually don't do a good job of that. Maybe I make a phone call or something just to like give my brain something else to do. But while I'm doing it recently, I am thinking about what is the next thing I'm going to produce when I get back to my computer. Sometimes it's an email for you all. Sometimes right now I'm making a 12 video set that teaches people how to make viral videos so you can expand your reach and your content. Excuse me. But my whole day is structured around producing content, producing videos, writing. Like the day is structured around these blocks that I know I need to get something out to people that gives them a chance to engage with me further so that I can bring them along for this journey and give them more of what they're looking for. After I'm usually creatively shot around 6 or 7, I eat. I hang out with my girlfriend. I take my dog on a walk, Penny. She helps me also be creative because I get to take a walk. I think that the main things that I would say there are I am disciplined about producing something every single day. Like it doesn't matter if I feel like I have it or I don't have it. I'm sad, I'm excited, I'm joyful, whatever. That's like that is the part that doesn't move is that I have to get a message out there to people every day. Um, I work my body a lot. I move around. I take this dog on hour-long walks. I go work out. I go play basketball. I have to keep myself, honestly, just to avoid, like depression, sadness, sedentary feelings. Like I have to stay mobile. It also loosens me up creatively. It also gives me a chance to focus on something besides what's in my phone. It's just something that keeps me consistent. And the other thing I would add about this is every single day. This is not Monday through Friday. This is not Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. This is Monday through Sunday. Ed, I think is still there. I can't see his face right now, but Ed
I'm
would
here.
attest. Yeah,
I'm
he's
here.
here. Like there are no off days for this for me because I love it, not because somebody's cracking the whip saying like you got to go do the thing. Oh, you gotta be up till 2 in the morning checking to see if anybody else subscribed. You gotta be up at 2 in the morning, like looking at the engagement for your last video and then following up with every single person who commented to say, hey, are you enjoying Hacking Hollywood? Like it's because this is this is a joy and it's a privilege and it's fun because the mousetrap is set up to make it fun. So that's
Hey,
my daily routine. Go ahead, Ed.
yeah, so there's something interesting here. And so I want to ask you a question. When we when I started talking to you about the concept of like more volume and what it took to actually be consistent on social media,
Yeah.
what we talked about sounded a lot like what everyone is talking about here in the group. What
Mhm.
got you to go from that place to this place that you're in right now? And what made it fun?
Yeah. So as I understand that question, it's like I'll put it in my own words and take accountability. It's like, what made you so resistant to doing that level of volume and consistency to now it's like the moment I get inspired by an exciting idea, I want to get it into that phone as fast as possible and get it out to people. All right, let me be honest here. What made it happen? Okay, I had a book to sell. I knew that was coming down the pike. And the last time I was promoting a book, which was my first book, Black Magic, I was so reliant on other people's platforms to get the message out about that book. I had to go through this whole process of chasing people down to give me opportunities to come and talk to their audiences. I want my own audience. I don't want to have to go, I don't want, you know what it is? I don't want to have to play politics and the networking game to try to get access to other people's shit. I don't like that. I really don't. Maybe it's prideful, maybe it's a personality thing. I am very sensitive, there's a lot of elements to it, but I don't want that. And once I saw because of the work that we were doing together, once I saw that like there was a way I could gain my own audience and talk to them directly, it fulfilled one, that fear that I would have to go sell myself out to other people for their audiences and their money. And it scratched an itch that I have naturally, which is I love to communicate. I call Ed 20 times a day. I call other people in my life multiple times a day because I like to pass the message. This makes me feel alive. And if you're an artist, if you're a communicator, many people have that same thing. And there was a prestige that value that I thought wasn't there with social media. There was like oh, that's not good enough. You're a filmmaker, you're a writer, you're an author. Like social media is for a lower form of artist or something like that. And then at two things happened at once. I saw some of my favorite artists using it in very smart, very creative ways. And I also found my own ways to use it in ways that I found to be meaningful and creative to me. I found it that way. So those are some of the ways that I shed that skin. I would say urgency, I would say trial and error, and I would say just like pure straight up, I'm just gonna make myself do this thing until I find a way to do it that I enjoy. What do you look? Okay, I'm moving on. What do you look for in a short form video's success? It's feedback on a video of mine in the scope of this call. We couldn't, if you can hang on. How long is the video? Who asked this question? Oh, Mohit.
It's right about 2 minutes.
It's right about 2 minutes. Okay. If you can hang on till we get through some more questions, yes, I think I will watch the video and give feedback. Absolutely. I think that would be useful to the group. But what do you look for in a short video success, a short form video success? Okay. A few elements, and I'm going to be ridiculous, but it's honest. Number one, does the video exist? Okay. That is the 99 percentile thing that will get you over the hump with everybody else who talks about wanting to do this is, will you actually do it? Does the video exist and did you put it out? It existing in your phone that does not meet the requirement. It is, did you put the video out? Now, once the video goes out, I am watching the engagement and the shares and the comments, and I'm watching the little graph that shows me how it's tracking. I am watching those things to the second, damn near. Like, I'm taking screenshots of them. I'm sending them back and forth to Ed. I'm sending them to other people to say, hey, look at how this thing's trending. How do you think I could change the language? I'm thinking about what made it take off. I'm reading Instagram's messaging that tells me in the first 3 seconds, your hook here was better than another one. I'm watching it like the way that stock traders are watching the market, because I am trying to dial in a version of these videos that is so potent and powerful that it reaches everybody that it needs to reach every single time. That's what I'm going for. So what you're looking for when you look at your video's engagement, for me, the first and most important one for me always is, did people share it? How many shares does it have? I can't control, how many people get to see it because the algorithm does some tweaking and tricky shit with that. I can't control how many people comment on it, even though I want a lot of comments. But if people think that the video is saying something that resonates with them to the point where they want it to represent them to another person, that's what you're going for. That's what means that your video was remarkable, is that somebody else thought it was worth sharing with another person. That's different from, it's not altogether different, honestly, from a movie or a song. Like, yes, you want somebody to love your song and for it to be their favorite song, but when it's their favorite song, that means they're going to tell somebody else about it. They're going to hum it in a room full of people. They're going to put it on in the car to show other people what great music taste they have. These are the things you're looking for when you make these videos. I used to make these videos thinking, I just want to get the feeling that I have out, and that's important. That's an important part of expression, but it's a very selfish part of expression. It's a very self-centered part of expression. There's another, in my opinion, more important part of expression was, did I get the feeling out in a way that translated to another person? And that's what I'm looking for with these videos. Jose says, my question is, how do we get the resources to streamline the work we do? I can elaborate if we have time. Jose, in a minute or less, can you please explain what you mean in that question?
All right. So for example, like I said, going back to what I mean by the civil rights movement, we do a film every year because that's what we have allowable, right? That's the funds that we get, the grants and whatever private funders and everything that we can do. We got 40 more data sets or 40 more films that we want to make. But again, we run into this brick wall where we go into the same well, we're running out of, I don't want to say running out of fuel, but they only could do one per year. How do I get or mainstream the resources or the people in the room? So when I pitch these 40 data sets or 40 stories, we could do maybe 4 a year or 3 a year versus to just one.
So I think that question points to the larger question here that might apply to everybody in this room, which is, how do you get big time Hollywood financing behind a project? Like, how do you get Netflix, Simon and Schuster, HBO, Spotify, Audible to ante up and give those big package dollars behind your thing so it can reach the masses, right? That's so many people's dreams, if we're just being honest. I will tell you that I have had success with this in 2 different paths. There's one path that I think is almost totally random, and so I don't recommend it. And then there's another path that I think has real legs. So on the side that is totally random is I'll say, getting lucky. And, the old, like, luck is when opportunity meets preparation, that kind of thing. Like, getting lucky, running into the right circles, meeting a Spike Lee outside of a coffee shop, you know, that thing happens where now all of a sudden you're beamed into a spaceship, you're taken out to Netflix studio, you're pitching your project in front of the head of TV. That happens because somebody else, Spike, already did the steps that I think are the actual important steps for people like us to do. He already did the thing, which is proving that his movies could make money. He already did the thing by making movies independently that made money so that studios saw that his movies can make them money. I got to sort of jump ship on that. I jumped the gate on that process because I was with Spike. But as a result, my economics also reflected the fact that I was not the person who brought the power. I was not the person who brought the track record. So I got the baby deal. Spike, had the show gotten made, would have gotten the big boy deal or the big person deal, right? Now, that leads me to the other path that I think is the real path here for us. The real path, as it is in any sort of venture capital or selling movies, selling a podcast, you got to show a track record that your thing can return. That's what somebody's looking to understand. You know, maybe they'll be moved by the message. Maybe they'll be moved by you personally as a filmmaker or whatever. But that's a crapshoot. That's where you're hoping and praying on stars. What you want to go to them with is something that shows people will buy this thing they already have in a smaller version of it, in a more raw version of it, with your vehicles, with your polish, with your distribution power, with your connections, with your producers. We can turn this into something that's even bigger, that'll have more legs. Look at Black Mirror. Black Mirror started off as a blog, actually as a blog post, which turned into a blog, which turned into a TV series on the BBC, which turned into a TV series on Netflix. And now Black Mirror is damn near like it's its own studio brand at this point, basically. Black Mirror has video games and all kinds of shit. Similarly, and this is like my own baby version of that, right? I write a piece for the New York Times about George Floyd. Uh, an Audible producer reaches out to me and says, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast?" It's funny you say that. And that New York Times piece blows up, right? Good for the New York Times pockets, not for mine. That producer reaches out to me, says, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing a podcast?" It's funny you say that. I have a podcast concept. I already piloted it on these two networks, made money for them, not for me. But now she says, "Okay, we have $300,000 to produce a season of your podcast. You know, write up a pitch and we'll go make this thing happen." But the piece that I think we as artists, as creatives, have to wrap our minds around and focus on is proving that our stuff can make money before we just go ask somebody to put some money up behind it. It honestly did work like that for a short period of time. And those days are behind us. Those days are, I mean, I just had lunch a week ago with a showrunner who's got Emmy nominations, showrunner credits. He's been doing this for 50 years. He's probably in his late 60s or 70s. And he says for him, there is no deal unless you can show a track record, unless you can show that your thing can make money. All right. Oh, I love this one. Wait, oh, okay. Jamil says, "I'm not confused. I know what to do. I'm just bad at it." Wait, not Jamil. Jamil didn't say that. Mohit said that. And then Jamil replied that. Okay. I'm moving on. There's not a question, but I just love it. "As an actor, I'm confused about the type of content I should create." Sean says that. There's Sean. Okay. Sean, did you introduce yourself?
No, I was iPhone.
Okay. Could you briefly just introduce yourself, tell us what you do and what you are hoping to get out of this conversation? And I think I have an answer to that because it's in the chat.
Yeah, my name is Sean. I'm an actor, aspiring writer, just trying to break out the 9 to 5 and being creative for a living. So I'm just trying to navigate that.
Okay, let's jump right into your question. Can you first start by just paint the picture for me? So you are an actor. You want to figure out what type of content to put out there in the world that will get you where you want to go. So tell me where you want to go and Tell me about the confusion.
So I would love to be a working actor, someone who is, getting calls and booking stuff. And or, I don't know if a lot of people are familiar with the path, but just starting out, everyone tells you, you gotta build your resume, do local stuff, and submit on Backstage and Actors Access, and then soon get an agent, and then you get a co-star, and then you get a guest star, and then it's like building this ladder, and I just feel like that's not the way anymore.
Yeah, it's so funny how people tell the story because it's just like bing bam boom, like you do this, you do that, and now you're Denzel Washington, right? Like now you're in 20 films. Okay. I'm so glad you said that because you just gave me inspiration to tell you gave me inspiration to be honest myself, okay? Whenever I tell that Spike story about how I met Spike and how that launched me into the industry, I'm telling it the same way that those people are telling their story about how they built their career as an actor, which is I'm only speaking on the parts of the system when they hit. I'm only talking about each lottery ball that turned up my way. I'm not talking about like God bless him, love Spike, so grateful for the opportunity, right? But in that time, I was busting my ass pitching that script to so many people who couldn't even help me. Like, I would take that script, I shared it with consultants, I went on a trip to Israel with entrepreneurs, random ass trip I ended up on. I was sharing it with like social entrepreneurs. I was putting together table reads with friends of mine who worked in, media, cosmetics, technology. Like, I was trying to get this thing in front of anybody who could possibly have an inroad to somebody else. And some of those inroads hit. One of those inroads got me signed to my agency. One of those inroads got me in front of a publicist who introduced me to her husband, who was an agent at WME. That's how I got to my agency. What I'm saying though is the game hasn't changed in this way. I'm gonna say how the game hasn't changed on a foundational level. The game is about The game is analog. It is about doing as many motions as you can that have the potential to hit a lottery ball for you. So you get to go to the next spot, to the next spot. So what that used to look like was if you were an actor, actress, it meant being in the right places as often as possible, shaking as many of the right hands as you possibly could until you formed a relationship with somebody who could help you get to the next spot, to the next spot, to the next spot. What's different now is that I can reach 1 million people in a month on my Instagram instead of going to Soho House and hoping that I'll bump into the right person to shuffle off my script to. How does that apply to you as an actor? The game used to be, let's talk about Drewski, right? Drewski, let's remove magic from all of this stuff, right? Drewski is a person who has a talent that is recognizable, but to the naked eye, no more recognizable than 20 other comedians that I know personally in Hollywood who are not having Drewski's success. But Drewski used his Wi-Fi connection to as many times as possible show people I'm funny, I'm funny, I'm funny. Then in his DMs, he went and followed up with people who could possibly get him into the right rooms and said, I'm funny, look at this. I'm funny, look at this. Look at these other people who think I'm funny. Look at all these people now who think I'm funny. Until it reached a critical mass where it was now the Breakfast Club recognizes that I'm funny. Now Jamie Foxx recognizes that I'm funny. Now HBO recognizes that I'm funny. Like it is a process, and I'm in real time experiencing this myself. It is a process of all these little tiny tick 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 tick, but then all of a sudden they start to swoop like this. For you, that could mean you might have to do 100 videos. I'm just being honest with you. You might have to do one video every single day, or if you could do two or three or four, you might have to do 100 of them before you hit on your first one. And I haven't looked at your socials, so maybe you already have. But before you hit your first one that gets, let's say, 10,000 views, right? It might take you 100. But on that 100th one, when you hit 10,000 views, now you know what it takes to make a video that hits 10,000 views. Now you also have a video you can send to people in DMs. People like, honestly, people like me, people like anybody who is looking for talented people to work with. You can send that directly to them. And the beauty of it is you don't have to quit your 9 to 5 to do that. You don't have to lose your life source in that way to go start down that process, but you do have to be willing to do all the little things managers used to say they would do for people. You got to do that stuff for yourself, basically. Is that helpful?
Yeah, yeah, it's helpful.
Do you
Um,
have follow-ups? Yeah, go for it.
so yeah, so I understand that. I guess since you've been in that industry, I guess the type of 100 videos I have to make, like
Yeah.
what what should I focus on? What should I be in that realm? Because I see like other actors on Instagram, and some of their stuff has nothing to do with acting.
Right.
It's just them, whatever. And it's like some of their videos hit, some don't. I guess I just don't know what they're looking for in those rooms.
Okay. I'm going to give you a broad answer that I think will answer that question, and then I'm going to give you a specific answer that I think, and do with whichever one you like better, use that one. Here's the broad answer. Whatever will make you do it over and over and over again every single day, choose that one. Truly. And let me be even specific within that. If it gives you joy and if you feel inspired to put it out every time you make one, do that. That's the thing to do. If you see it start to catch, if you see ways that you can tweak it to make it more interesting, whatever, go that path. Now on the other side, um, Drewski is never going to get hired for a role as I don't know. Drewski is never going to be what's the boxer Michael B. Jordan as the boxer. What is that? Drewski's never going to be Creed, right? Because at this and I don't know that for certain, but at this point, Drewski has decided this is how I want people to see me. He has applied his own taste to what he's putting out there. So if I were in your shoes as an actor, if what I wanted people to know me as was as an actor, I would choose what do I like? What is my taste level? What do I think is an interesting role for me? What kind of role would I want somebody to see me in? And then I would place myself into that and I would show them that over and over and over until somebody got the joke. And then they shared that with somebody else who got the joke. Now, I'm also like I told everybody sitting here, I am going to offer to anybody that wants it a 12-step, very specific guide on how to make videos that have a chance for virality. But I'm just going to give you the answers right here in terms of formatting. Setup, execution, posting. Setup, have good lighting. Like, and again, if this is too elementary for you because you already know this stuff, then by all means, but like, get one of these. Can you see me better? Probably. Um, Sunlight is good on your face. Don't be backlit. Get yourself in the middle of the frame. This is what Instagram is looking for to detect when it looks at your video and decides to give it to more people. Make sure your audio is exceptionally clear. Make the room look like a room. You know what I mean? Even if you don't know what the rest of my house looks like. It could look like a dungeon, but this room looks like a room. It looks like somebody took a moment to decide, here's how I want this space to look. It looks like somebody is in this room, somebody that I should pay attention to, somebody that I should be listening to. When my thing comes across your scroll, you see, you see what looks like kind of organically made content, which is just like funny cat video, this person doing this thing in a dull lit room, this person, and then all of a sudden you see a face in the frame that is looking right at you, talking to you with lighting and sound that sounds proper, right? That's what you want. Look like the person that you want people to believe that you are as an actor. That's what you're going for. I would say 90 seconds or less so that it has the best virality, best virality chances. Don't put music behind it. Focus on yourself and do it. Like, and when I say do it, I mean, do it like it's your job. Like do it so real, the way that like do it like you would do it in the audition room because casting directors, it's expensive to book an audition room for a whole day and have 100 people come in there. Like they want to scroll, they want to go to your Instagram. That's the guy. Oh, and he already has 5,000 followers. Oh, and he already has 50,000, 500,000. This is an easy sell to my producers and my director. Boom, bang, boom. I'm in his DMs. Let's make a deal. Oh, we need to make a deal with you. You're not in SAG. Let's get you in SAG. Oh, you need an agent so you can be in SAG? Well, look, this guy has a role coming already lined up because of what he did on socials. Now go meet with WME, CAA, UTA, make your pick of agents and rinse repeat, but never stop the rinse repeat. That's the important part. All right. All right. The value can be the brand for sure. See creatives talk about what inspires in all sorts of different niches, but it's all unified. Yes. Still have a question about Curry. Yeah, let's do it. Let's run the question. Come on, Jamil.
Peace. Yes, thank you. This has been great, by the way. I'm taking a lot of notes. So you helped me kind of help figure out how I want to present myself individually as an artist. I'm also the creator of Curry in a Hurry, this project that's a lot bigger than just me. And we're now starting to do things. So just as a little, you guys kind of got the backstory. But what we're at right now is we're doing a 10th anniversary pop-up at a Indian Trinidadian restaurant here in Seattle. And we shot a promo that kind of acts as a skit. So it kind of looks like it kind of gave us the ability to practice how to film some comedy, right? So we'll be putting that out. We're doing an event. We're doing another song, Hurry in a Hurry too, with my little brother. So he's got a great audience. He's really enigmatic and fun. My question is, this brand has some potential and legs to it, as a food brand, as a comedy brand, as a music brand, as just a cultural kind of hub for specifically South Asian folks, but anybody who's interested in Indian American food and cuisine and comedy and all that kind of stuff. My question is, how do now that things have changed, that the climate and whatnot of how content comes out and how it's received and how it builds up has changed. How do I optimize this brand? How do I, we're just going to relaunch some new socials around it with content. We're visiting, like Indian festivals and doing that kind of social media stuff. What would you say is a way that we can optimize a brand like the one I'm trying to work on right now, especially in the current climate and media entertainment?
Just so we're working with the same tools, tell me what optimize means for you in this context.
Okay, so I think viewership, investment, as in going to our events, views on our stuff. For me and my brother, our deep goal has always been to make this a show on like a Hulu or a Netflix or something like that, a sitcom. Think Kim's Convenience meets Ramy, but G-rated, a little bit more family friendly, about food and restaurant, like meets the Bear kind of thing. So I think my big goal has always been to write, direct, put that thing out on a bigger platform. Um, but there's a lot of hanging threads, and there's a lot, like I was telling my little brother, well, there's a lot of potential with where this brand could go. It might be more of a food thing. It might be a pop-up truck. It might be merch. We don't know. But my in-house goal has always been to make more content around it, more comedy, kind of narrative comedy content around it.
Okay. All right. So what I would start with, Jamil, is I would get super clear with myself on what do I want from this brand that is going to be inspiring to me to work toward every single day. Because if the answer falls outside of that prism, I think it's gonna fall dead. I think it's gonna be dead in the water. If it's not inspiring enough for Jamil to want to move toward it every single second of every day, then I don't know how it's going to inspire the other people you would need to start building behind it to make it happen. For me personally, I obviously love narrative. I love creative visual narrative. I love book narrative. I love TV writing narrative. I love content narrative. Like I love telling stories. if you're inspired by the storytelling elements of it, I would personally, and this is my own personal philosophy, which is why I'm walking this direction, I would make myself the face and voice of the story that you're trying to sell by telling it every single day on socials. It doesn't have to be the same story within it every single day, but something that regards the audience that you're talking about reaching here every single day, multiple times a day, if you can. And what you'll find is that all those different offshoots of what you're trying to build here, they will start to materialize. How to Sell Out the Book started off as an Audible's original show. Then it became a book. Then Cedric the Entertainer calls and says, what are you going to do with this? Van Lathan says, what are you going to do with this? You want to make it a TV show? You want to make it a movie? So then I decide, do I want to make it a TV show? Do I want to make it a movie? But it's, for me, it all starts with like a needle point, like a clear, precise message and messenger who are walking us through this thing that people can attach themselves to. I don't know how big its reach is on socials at the moment, but the critical mass that it takes to start getting people behind it to make a movement is in the, tens of thousands. And that's what you can start to build by just telling that story with your face on it every single day. And I would encourage you to not wear glasses because of the glare. And I also wear glasses sometimes. I take them off because of the glare.
How does that look? How does that look as far as like, let's say someone hops onto the Curry in a Hurry socials or my Instagram or whatever. How does that look? How does it, when you say make myself the story, like, are you talking about doing skits? You're talking about just me talking about making the story? Or are you talking, you know what I'm saying? Like
How about, okay,
what
how
do you
about
mean by
this? How about number one? How about clips of the art itself, right? The song, the video, clips of behind the scenes of that. You in front of those clips talking about what it took you to make that. And then also going, like, I think going deeper, right? You all are here because you saw me talking about stuff and it looked like maybe this guy has a window into something that I want to know more about. Like, I'm using that very broadly, right? I'm on Instagram talking about race, gender, relationships, my own emotional health. Like, I'm talking about all kinds of stuff that is not the reason necessarily why you're sitting in these seats right now, but you saw something in the messenger because they were opening up to you, they were connecting to you, they were speaking clearly, they were being honest, and you're like, maybe that's not exactly what I relate to. One of you all even said it in your message to me. You're like, I'm not black, but dot dot dot, right? Right. But it didn't matter because you were just like, I might not be here to talk about like his black experience, but that's a human, and we did this. So I can just tell about you as you are. People will gravitate to you if you just show up and tell them something that is real to you. You will be surprised where people will come from. So and again, you don't want to be monotone. At least I don't, right? I don't like only doing my face to the forward videos every day. That is kind of my bread and butter thing. But I do like to intersperse. Here's a video from this event that I did. Here's an image of me on this platform. Here's something ridiculous. Here's my dog, Here's some music that I made. Just to, here's me singing now, which you're not expecting. But it's like, it starts to build the shape of a full person that other people can hang on to. Here's what I should say. I should say it very precisely. It's the trust that is going to carry over. It's the trust that they see you and you're real and you're a real person, right? You're not just there to sell them something. And once they trust you and you say, here's something else I have to offer you, they might give it a chance. That's what you're trying to do.
So it's really about building me as the storyteller, and then the stories that I'm telling, they kind of go to that once they, like you're saying, trust me or are invested in me as a storyteller.
That's
Is that right?
that's what I think will give you the most leverage to make all the choices that you're talking about, right? Ed, please.
Yeah, so Jamil, Chad and I have had this conversation many, many, many times. And the thing that I had to do to make sure that I was as helpful to Chad as possible is look at it from the lens of what is Chad going to do every day? What is Chad going to produce every day that gives him the best chance of being successful? And that's why the theme has come up so many times. I can tell you as well. I can tell by your tone. I can tell about by your affect. You'll be fine. The limiting factor for you is going to be how do you get from posting once a month to once a day?
Mm, hmm
If you post once a day, that's 30 times a month. You don't have to have 30 hits. But if you don't post at all, you can't have a hit.
So with that, and I appreciate that, with the actual project itself, and just gauging the landscape, like, yes, I make my own social media page. I kind of create myself as a storyteller. And you said something that earlier, Chad, that really had me thinking. Um, you said people are invested in the story of your story. So that really makes a lot of sense to me. Now, as far as the actual story itself, it's kind of like a nitty-gritty question that I'm kind of getting at is it optimal to make a short and take it to festival? Is it better to make short form skits and put it on social? Is it better to do events and pop, like, in a way, like, where is the terrain right now to optimize a self independently made comedy series or brand?
All right. I'm going to try to just give the answer, but then I'm going to try to walk it back. I'm going to try to walk the whole circle of it, right? I'm going to say it hyperbolically. This person will never ever tell you to apply to a festival. This person will never tell somebody to go to film school unless they just want to go to film school. Unless they don't care about making a film, but just want to go to film school. Um, you go to a festival, right? Let's say you get into South by. Go to South by, and less year over year, as you will find from people who talk about the festivals. That goes for Sundance, South by, Tribeca, whatever. There are fewer and fewer people there who can actually buy or finance your film because those people are looking for you where you found me. They're looking for you the same place where a music manager is looking for their next artist. They're looking for you the same place where a music label is looking for their next A&R. They're looking where they're looking. You know what I mean? Like they're looking where we're all looking all day, every day. The festival stamp, it doesn't mean a film that got into Sundance versus a film that has 10 million views on YouTube. That is the easiest math in the world that an executive will ever have to do on which one of these films do we invest in. One has an audience that is built already, that's already out there telling their friends about what this thing is. The other one has been seen by 50 suits in a room in Utah, right? You want to be like, if you can make this switch, and maybe it's already made, but I just say it how I had to say it to myself. Chad, if you can let go of the idea that someone else putting their stamp on your thing makes it more valuable, and if you can ingest the idea that the people that you need to see it are right there on the other side of your phone, like you will start moving at digital speed instead of at foot speed, walking in and out of networking rooms. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Yeah.
That's great, man. Thank you.
Got you, man. Right on. All right. All right. Somebody said not to be ageist, but that's something only millennials plus say. What was that regarding?
That
For
was when
Gen
you were like, "Oh, I don't want to do social media because it's not prestigious." Like Gen Z, between Spike Lee and Mr. Beast, I'm talking to Mr. Beast.
That's beautiful. I mean, it is so, and I'm with it, man. I'm following y'all. I'm with y'all. Okay, I have to go. Oh, bye, Masika. She left. Sorry, I'm reading through the chat. How can I go about selling my pieces on Substack? This is Lawrence, to news outlets, or would it be more beneficial to monetize my Substack? Speaking to you, what you just mentioned about making money on my own before getting financial backing. All right. Um, Lawrence, this is important. This has been an important question. This has been an important shift for me mentally, is the idea of two things. Number one is the idea of and instead of or, and the other is the evergreen value of media, which is I'm going to start with that one actually, which is once you write something, once you make something, the value of that thing can increase by unknowable amounts over time. You have no clue. But once you've made it and it's got your name on it, it's yours, which is the beautiful thing about producing. It's the beautiful thing about writing. It's the beautiful thing about this book right here is that it could one day sell 10 million copies. Okay. It's probably sold at this point like between 15 to 20,000. But if I put out a Netflix special that goes crazy, or if this Hacking Hollywood community ends up having 1 million people in it, this book all of a sudden now is worth more than it is today. Because you write every day on your Substack and make your videos every day, the value of those things can increase. And so never stop doing that. But the idea of the and is this. You own that stuff that you put on your Substack. You could literally write every single piece and then go try to pitch it immediately thereafter. That could be your process. You write it, you put it on your Substack, you go straight to your DMs, you go straight to an email list that you find on LinkedIn, and you reach out to every single publisher and say, hey, will you publish this? Will you publish this? Will you publish this? Now, the money you're going to get for a piece like that is negligible. I mean, it's not nothing because we all need money, but it's going to be like in the $1,000 to $2,000 range, like $1 to $2 per word type of thing. For my George Floyd piece for the New York Times, I got like $1,200. It was a 1,200 word piece. However, that piece probably increased my Instagram following by 5,000, my Twitter following by 3,000. One piece, which means now I have the opportunity to engage all those people as many times as I want with the rest of my creativity, with the rest of my art. And so the answer that I have to give to you is like, do both. Be the artist and the manager at the same time. The manager would say, artist, write that thing, give it to your fans on your Substack. That's where they are. But also let me take that thing and try to sell it to people. That's what you got to do. All right. If you had to choose one or the other though, because of the time difference, I would always say choose giving it to your fans and your followers, give it to your Instagram audience, use it to build your Instagram audience rather than the rigmarole of trying to chase down a publication to put it out. That part feels like more of a stamp for yourself than it sometimes does for your business. All right. Romeo, Timothy Chalamet. What? I don't even know what that means. For a pitch meeting, why would someone need a filmed proof of concept? How often is it necessary? Oh, I'm so glad you asked this. Who said that? Henry. Great. I'm so glad you asked this. All right. I will tell the anecdotal story and then I'll tell the rule behind it. Fly to Hollywood with Spike Lee, right? First time ever on a first class flight. So excited. I think for sure my life is about to change. It already has. Go to Netflix, go to HBO, go to Hulu, go to Amazon. Boom, boom, boom. Pitch everywhere. And Spike told me this before I got there. He said this to me because my ambition was to act in the show. And he says, if you want to act in this show, you have to prove to them that you can do that job. They will not take my word for it. Me, I'm Spike Lee. That they won't take my word for it. So we go to all those pitches. No, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. We go back to New York. We go back to Hollywood, pitch 4 more studios. No, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you, no, thank you. Because all I have is a script and a show Bible. I take $4,000 of my own money that I don't have, and I would do it for less if I had to do it today. I go, at this point, Spike is like, I don't know. We tried, you know what I mean? He's moving on to go shoot Black Klansman. So I take $4,000 of my own money. I go hire a director who he introduced me to, who went to my college. I go find a production team, like student film type of folks around here, NYU, Pratt, whatever, a crew. I go off and shoot one scene of this show, one scene of this thing. And the very next pitch was the only one I could get left. We watched the pitch in the room. And because they can see the show with me in it, they said they wanted to buy it before we walked out the door, right? That's the difference. Now, the rule behind that is this. Writing requires the imagination. When we watch a film, we can all see the same thing, We can all also feel other people in the room responding to it. We can all also get a friend. If you're a studio executive, somebody slips you a 5-minute proof of concept for a movie. We can all get a friend to watch 5 minutes for us. We cannot all get a friend to read a 30-page script. I bet if I sent all y'all a 30-page script right now and came back 2 weeks from now and asked you how many of you had read it, I would honestly probably get like 2 or 3 of you who had read it from beginning to end. That's just a guess. I don't know. My point is, we live in a world now where everybody has the vehicles to make something before they go pitch it. You can prove it. You can put it on YouTube and prove it. Hey, we got 10,000 views on this thing. It cost us $1,000 to make it. So when you guys give us $1 million, look at what we can produce for you. That's the difference. People don't want to read. They want to watch. People don't read. That's the answer. How often is it necessary? I would say the necessariness of it correlates to your track record and your heat at that in any given moment. I bet that, I don't want to guess a name, but somebody who's super hot, who has a hit show on TV right now, is less likely to have to go and use a proof of concept to get their next thing bought. But if you are, as I have been many times, somebody who does not have a show on TV, somebody who does not have a movie in theaters, somebody who's never met the executives you're sitting down with, like you want to take all the guessing work off their plate. And again, we all have an iPhone or an Android. We all have a high quality camera in our pockets. There's nothing that stops you from making a proof of concept if you really have a vision.
Okay, good. Thank you. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah, that's exactly where I'm at as far as wanting to, I want to be in it. So I'm glad you said that. So,
you got to show it to them. You got to
show it. Okay,
especially if you're coming with no, if you don't have an IMDb with 5 TV credits or movie credits, like they need to know that you can do the job. You got to show it to them. Nobody's going to ask Drewski now if he can be in a movie because he's shown them that he can make a movie with him as the star. I'm also writing a children's book. This is Sean. I understand you wrote or are writing one. What would you do different if you wrote another one? How do you sell a book on socials when you have no audience? Okay. There's 3 questions there. Oh, well, yes, I wrote a children's book called The Quest Cousins Go Camping. It is the first book in what will become a series of books. Question number 2, excuse me. What would you do different if you wrote another one? Well, I'll tell you what I did the first time was I gave it to my agent and I said, hey, can we sell this book to HarperCollins, Simon & Schuster, where my nonfiction books go, Penguin, Viking, Random House, somebody like that. And I waited for a year for one of those companies or another publishing company, we went out to several, to come back and offer a deal, and it didn't happen. And instead, I probably would have spent that year doing what I eventually went on to do, which is to hire an illustrator who I met on socials. That's an important point to be made. I found somebody on socials. I talked to 3 different illustrators. She was the one who had the most clear, to the point, straight fire process. I paid $3,000, paid over a few different months for her to illustrate the book. And it was like zing, zing, zing. She made it happen. She was very amenable to feedback. She understood the book and the characters that I was I had already written the thing. So how would I do it differently? I probably wouldn't have waited so long to hear back from unimaginative publishers on whether or not I should move forward. Now, how do you sell a book on socials when you have no audience? Okay. The first thing I want to do is just point out that in the question, there's a choice, which is you can have an audience by doing the things that we've been talking about today. But if you have a negligible or a small one, I bet the issue is that you don't have 0 audience, but maybe you just don't have the size of an audience that you want to have. There's a couple things you can do. One is you can make ads to your book. If it's self-published, you can make ads. I mean, no matter who publishes it, you can make ads and run ads to send traffic to your book for presumable buyers. You can also begin to tell the story of making that book as your foray into building an audience. You can say, hey, I'm Sean. My book is called Billy Buys a Truck. And, for page one, I'm thinking about either doing this or this. What do you guys think about blue versus green for the background? Oh, I got a black character. Maybe I should include an Asian character, a white character, whatever. I'm thinking about rhyme scheme versus whatever. Here are some of my favorite children's book authors who have used rhyme scheme versus other ones. Tag them, ask them, story posts. Like this is sort of the thing about it. And I'll try to be concise here, which is at this point, because of Amazon KDP and other self-publishing vehicles, which will take a cut, but make it very easy for you to upload a file and immediately start selling people printed copies of your book. Because of that platform, because of social media, because of YouTube, and because of the array of creative people like the people on this call who are available to you through social media, you truly can do everything that your publisher is going to do for you. The difference is, many people are hoping that their publisher is going to write them a big check that will give them some money to live on while they go and make that book. That is less and less so, especially if you don't have a track record. And the children's book industry for big publishers is particularly slow. I can turn around a nonfiction book in about, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, right? If I have the deal in hand. Children's books take much longer than that. They can take months to even get back to you about the book, especially if you don't have an agent. You might never hear back from them. So what I would say is you can start building the audience for the book without the book existing. You can start building the audience by telling the story through socials. Now you got 1,000 people following you who are following these characters in this book. Now you go and hire an illustrator or illustrate it yourself, upload those files to Amazon KDP or another self-publishing vehicle, and now you sell to those people directly. That's like the bing, bam, boom of it. I don't know how simple or complex that sounds, but the first step I would say is start building the audience for that book before the book exists. That's where I would start. That's also going to help you sell it to a publisher, by the way, if that's your ambition. Okay, I don't see anything else in the chat unless I'm missing something. So if does anybody want to just blurt something out? Is there anything remaining? Like, please don't leave this call without saying the thing that you want to say.
So I was gonna say something like sometimes when it comes to telling my story, and I've and it's so funny that you gave this advice about writing what brings you joy or what you think about most, because it's like when you're writing so much, like I have been on Substack, I can see like the common things that I keep talking about. And I love Substack, and it's given me so much access to people and people who want to follow my story in another lane. But I'm realizing, I need to focus on like my own personal projects as far as like my screenplay, as far as writing my pilot TV show instead of like, and talking about stuff on camera is kind of like a better alternative to like writing about, like the events and stuff like that. But I guess what my thing is it's like when it comes to telling my story through socials, as far as like the camera and everything like that, which I enjoy doing, and I think it's been a lot of feedback. Um, I guess I'm nervous about like, what if somebody like takes my idea, something like that, or something I've been through, or you know what I'm saying? I guess that's like a fear of mine. So it's like kind of like, should I put that energy into writing it, or can I do both and tell it through my, videos and also writing about it? You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
I'm so glad you asked this.
I guess like intellectual property kind of thing, because it's like, you know, I know my story is very kind of like unique, and the situation kind of ties in with a lot that of themes that people are interested in. But you know, that's what I wanted to ask pretty much.
I'm so glad you asked this. This comes up a lot. People are like, I'm worried about sharing too many of my ideas and having somebody run off with my idea. Um, there's a few things I want to say to that. Number one, very understandable, especially as a creative person. It is easy to feel like your value is in a few discrete, specific ideas that you have had. I would encourage you to recognize the value, which is the generator of those ideas versus the ideas themselves. You are an idea generator. You are a creative person. You create stuff that can then become bigger stuff or can then reach people. That is a value. Now, the idea itself, this is something, okay. Having been in writers' rooms, having been in writing tandems with, you know, legends who do this, and also just professionals who do this on a regular basis. The process of turning an idea into something that is a full-fledged project, right? My book proposal came in at 5 to 15 pages, something like that. I had to turn it into 250 pages, right? If somebody took that same 15 pages and gave it to all 10 of the people in this room and said, write how to sell out, every single person would come up with something so different from the other ones that they wouldn't probably even live on the same shelf in the bookstore because it is the people who exercise the full story out of the idea that make it into what it becomes, people and machines at this point. Um, Another version of that, right? The show Atlanta, let's say, for example. You watched the show, did you watch the show Atlanta? Okay. The log line for that show probably says a college dropout and his rapper cousin embrace, the hijinks and danger of America's weirdest city. Something like that, right? Like, now, imagine someone handing you that on a plate and saying, now go make the show Atlanta. How different the thing that you ended up making would be from the other thing. What I'm saying is that when you go pitch your projects, the companies are not just investing in the IP that is in front of them. In fact, that's what they're investing in least of all, especially when it doesn't already exist in some format. They're investing in you as the storyteller who they're going to have to work with for years to keep you building out this thing. They're going to have to keep working with you to excavate new parts of this story. They're going to have to keep, as you change and as you grow, they're going to be using new parts of your point of view to make this story. So I would say the value of putting your ideas out there so that people know you are an idea generator always outweighs the value of the potential of somebody running off with your idea, because what are they going to do with it? It's not a product. It's not something that they can just take and sell to somebody else as it is. They need you to make more of it, you know? That's what I think.
Take that.
Da, 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 da. Okay, Jose had to drop off. All right, let's take a look at
I
this
do have
video.
one question if it's possible before
Yeah,
that.
sure.
I'm
Who's
sorry to
talking?
interrupt there. This is Alex.
Hey,
Alex
Alex.
C.
Talk to
Yeah,
us.
so Mike, so listen, what Lawrence asked and what you answered was incredibly, first of all, like deeply helpful. And then
Great.
going back to what you mentioned earlier about, I think you and Ed both mentioned about providing, like the way to target your audience is to provide something, basically a value. I'm paraphrasing here.
Mm-hmm.
I think the hardest thing that has been, because I've made attempts at this kind of thing in the past and it's done okay, but like I think the hardest part for me to understand is how to take, like for instance, let's say I have a mission, like I have a goal of what I want to share, but I want to be able to share it in a way that does exactly that, provide value to them. I get really confused and lost about figuring out that path about, okay, how can I make this of value to others, not just something that's fun for me to do exclusively? Does that make sense?
Yeah, can you be a little bit more specific about what you're offering so that I can try to see it through someone else's eyes?
So in general, I was, deeply influenced. I think earlier Jose may have mentioned similarly, I was deeply influenced by 90s, like The Different World, Martin, like the messages that they were able to send while providing a ton of value. And I know the landscape of entertainment has changed a bit, but I still want to be able to provide that through things that are interesting to me. So like through and in ways that I haven't seen done before. Like I used to be a professional salsa dancer, and there are so many like experiences and situations that or just people in general had that haven't been shared. And I'm not going to get people to want to start salsa dancing, but I would love to be able to show stories through that lens. And it's been difficult for me to figure out how to do that effectively. So when I can talk to people about it and it's interesting, but in terms of, teaching without teaching, right? Explaining without teaching, that's hard for me. So how do I get them to
how do I share value, share what I want to share in a way that is valuable, you know? I
Okay,
hope that makes sense. It's difficult for me to formulate.
let me ask you this. If you were scrolling yourself and you landed on something in that space that was valuable to you, what would that look like?
Mm. If I'm honest, I would want to see, well, okay, but well, so what I would want to look for is A, to make sure that there is polish behind what was done. Not like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but to be like, okay, these people obviously know what they're doing, right? If we're going to do anything in that kind of space, like it's not just people who watch the YouTube video for 5 minutes and like, okay, I'm an expert, but also sharing something in a way that would, for me personally, something that really touches in touch with the human connection. I mean, human experience rather, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That would grab my attention instantly, even if I didn't particularly like the choreography or particularly like Siri, stop. Sorry about that.
That's
Or
well said.
particularly, yeah,
That's well
particularly
said.
like, yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
energy
yeah.
behind it, like the depth to it often is more important than the specifics. But okay, can I ask you to go one layer deeper then? So like I hear you talking it as you're seeing it in your head. Can you describe what you're looking at in your head while you're like what do you see in your head while you're describing it?
You know, maybe it sounds silly to me. Maybe it's not actually, but I'm basically seeing. Okay, I'll give you more specifics. So let's say we are at a venue where there is an event happening, and it's clearly a bigger event than usual, right? You can just kind of tell by the energy. And despite there being all of this joy and merriment, there's somebody that looks extremely contemplative, but not out of place. And maybe we kind of zoom in to kind of see, like, I don't know, just basically whatever they're going through, just something that can resonate with other people. I just don't want it to be a downer. You know, like for me, when I imagine it's not a downer, but it's highly relatable and people can say, oh, I know, similar to what the guy was like, I'm not black, but I understand, what you're saying. Similar to that, like I am not a dancer. I have never been in an environment and may never be, but what this person is going through is similar to something me and my friends or my coworkers or whatever have gone through. That really touches people deeply in that way.
Is
And
that
so let's say
some
let's say it was a breakup, right? Let's say it was something like a breakup, like you were engaged to someone and you broke and it ended, and your friends out of nowhere just say, "Hey, are you okay? Is everything okay?" You don't have to hang around too long on the subject, but kind of move on. Like, oh wow, like that would be very touching. I don't know. It's hard for me to articulate. That's the trouble.
is is that something that you could produce with your iPhone for free?
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
How much time do you think it would take you?
Realistically, I could probably get it done. If I'm honest, I could probably get it done in like a night. Like I know the scene well enough that I could know where to show up. I could know who to ask and say, hey, just do this, just say that, move here to there, and then just get it done. Like a scene, right? Like that.
I think that's a great place to start is somewhere that you intuitively believe would be valuable to you as somebody who understands this community. I think if you could knock that out in a night, right? Like you what the goal for producing for socials, at least as I see it, is in the immediate, it might be a 3 hour production process or a 5 hour or a 2 hour, and you eventually want to get that down to something where you can knock out several of these in a day and get them out at a quality that feels good to you, where people are responding to them, and maybe this is a good place for you to start. Okay, to go back to your
Mm,
initial question, which is I think just like how do I wrap my head around what to offer people that is of value? You might not know what's of value to people until you start offering whatever you think will be of value to them and seeing how they respond to it. You can always ask them what's of value to them, but even then, you might not get a good answer because I'm asking people all day, every single day, what they want, and people are people are not used to being asked what they want. That's a big
mm,
thing here. Is like they're used to being offered something and deciding if they want it or not, if they even get a choice. And so you might
mm.
have to engage with them that way first. Does that make sense?
Actually does make sense. Yeah, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I'm gonna go on here to any final quick tips to make solid. Oh, wait, sorry. Let's watch this video real quick. I'm gonna screen share it if I can. Anybody know how to do that on Zoom? Is that even a thing? Yeah.
It is a thing. Only you might. There's a share button with the green arrow right at the bottom.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Share. Come on. It's making me do this. All right. It needs a password. Oh, man. No. Ed Bailey is requesting you to allow multiple presenters to share. Oh, Ed, you can do it?
Oh, absolutely.
All
Yeah,
right,
just give me
thank you.
permission.
There you
I
go.
got you.
All
All
right,
right, hold on.
appreciate it. All right, here we go. Because it was gonna try to make me restart the Zoom and then I'll
Yeah,
lose the recording.
I understand. Oops. Nope, not yet. Gotta go back. I didn't enable sound. Okay. Share sound. Share. This is the one, right?
Hands up. There it
Yeah.
is.
Perfect.
I want to show you a thought experiment that'll make you happier every time you do it, if you do it right. The first thing you want to do is you want to pick a fantasy. But for today, we're going to use the fantasy of fame as an example because it's a daydream that a lot of us share. So, take a deep breath and then imagine being famous. But really imagine it. What images are coming to your mind? Are there specific people that are coming to your mind? Are there specific places that you're getting transported to? Those details say something really important about you. And I'm going to show you how to figure all that out. Using myself as an example here, when I think of being famous, I personally imagine my parents bragging about me at this awful holiday party that we go to every year. So step one is identifying your fantasy, and that's mine. For you, maybe you're dreaming of walking down a red carpet, or being on Colbert, or driving a Bugatti. It really is different for everyone. Step two is the hardest part. Identify the implied pain point in the fantasy. What problem is being famous solving in the world of your fantasy? If I'm imagining my parents bragging about me, that means some part of me still cares about impressing my parents and everyone at that awful party. My pain point is my desire for their approval, which exists in the present. And I'm so lost on how to impress them that I seriously imagine becoming famous to make that pain go away. So what is the pain that the joy in your fantasy is hiding? The joy in your fantasy is made up. It's pure imagination. But the pain in your fantasy is actually based on your life. It comes from the present moment, and that pain is what generates the fantasy in the first place. You dream of food when you're hungry. The final step is easy, but it's the most important. Find a better solution. It's my belief that all fantasies are unrealistic solutions to the pains that we are carrying. So if I find a better solution, I can find the peace in the real world, and not just in my imagination. I'm 27 years old. I shouldn't care about my parents' approval anymore. I need to grow up. So if I think like in the real world, if I think of the time of my life where I cared the least about their approval, it would be when I was living in a different city than them and when I was speaking to my friends more than I spoke to them. So investing in my friendships to rebalance things is a truer solution than trying to become famous. I'll be honest, when you apply this thinking to dark fantasies, it's life-changing. It really is. I originally developed this framework while dissecting my fantasy of taking my own life. So, if you're ready to really dig deep, you might like this old video of mine, and I'll be making a shorter post about it tomorrow. Keep yourself safe, and I'll see you next time. I want to show you a thought experiment that'll make you happier.
Could you please pause it? Actually, it's gone.
You want me to put it back up?
I just want to hear the first 10 seconds again,
All right,
please.
you got it.
Thank you.
I actually forgot sound again.
It's all good.
No, cool. Share sound. Share. All right, go.
Every time you do it, if you do it right. The first thing you want to do is you want to pick a fantasy. I want to show you a thought experiment that'll make you happier every time you do it, if you do it right. The first thing you want to do is you want to pick a fantasy. But for today, we're going to use the fantasy of fame as an example because it's a daydream that a lot of.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
All right. This was fun. Are you ready for feedback
I'm
and
ready.
thoughts?
Notepad
All right.
open.
First of all, I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna start with what I like about it. Is that your own song or is that a different song? As
Yeah.
your own song? That was your own,
Yeah.
like your own chords? You
Yeah.
sounded so good. You sounded really good.
Thank you.
Um, I also really resonated with the message. Like, I'm 10 years older than you, and I'm still trying to fight that same demon. Like,
Yeah.
I have the same thing that you have.
Yeah.
And it's well written. Like, I think you messaged me and you were like, I don't know why this video didn't like do
Yeah.
bigger than it, because, and this is, I'm so glad you're bringing it up because that's the maddening thing when you are talented and you're like, why isn't the machine giving me what I should be getting from this thing? I I could be wrong, but I literally think there's like three things that if you change them about this video could like 10x the engagement that you got on this video, okay?
Great.
Um, One is more complicated than the other, so I'll save it for last. First is, I don't know, did you put that on Instagram and YouTube?
It's too long for Instagram. So YouTube and
Too long for
TikTok.
Instagram. Okay, YouTube and TikTok. It is long, which, if you consolidated it to like 60 to 90 seconds, I think on all those platforms, it would probably serve it. If you could still get the message through. The
Yeah.
captions are also covering your face, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
very important. Like, you're the storyteller, it's a good story. We need to see your facial emotions as you're telling the story.
Yeah.
Even if those emotions are very stoic, we still need to see it because that's like what's engaging us. Um, I went back to the first 10 seconds because I wanted to see the hook. And I think the hook on that video is in the caption beneath it. I think the hook is, do you want to be famous? And if I were
Mm.
writing this whole thing, I wouldn't change much because it was an excellent story, well told, and I related to it.
Mm.
But the algorithm and also people's attention are
Yeah.
they're looking for that thing that makes them stop and say, "Oh, he's talking to me." And so
Mm.
many people want to be famous. And it is everything you just described there, they are going through. It's just you need to say their name and you don't know their
Yeah.
name. So their name is, do you want to be famous? That's
Mm.
that's the thing. Now, the last thing I would say here, which is the bigger thing that's might be a little bit tricky to solve production wise, is um both in the way that is shot vertically
Mm.
and in the way that it is, which is that you are saying something very important and you are playing the instrument well.
Mm.
There's two good things happening at once, and the
Mm.
brain wants to pay attention to both of them. And
Mm.
you
Mm.
you may have to choose which one of those the brain needs to pay attention to.
Mm.
That could be these things are so sensitive. That could literally just mean like turning the volume down on the chords to
Mm.
like a 10 out of 100 instead of a 30 out of 100. That
Mhm.
could possibly be enough. Or perhaps you take the
Mm.
vertical split out and you just make it you telling the story. And every now and then, when you take a breath, you cut to yourself
Cut it in.
playing like
Mm.
I wouldn't even go further than that because maybe just try those things, try it again.
Mm.
If you throw it on Instagram, like I'll repost it to my story because you sound great and the message is meaningful and I relate to it.
Mm.
So that's my feedback, man. That's what I got.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And there's no obligation. Only do that if you genuinely like the video, you know?
No, I really like the video and I really like I really like your audio texture, like how you sound, how your instrument sounds. Like I'm being genuine. I wouldn't repost it. Like I would give you the feedback, but I definitely wouldn't offer to put it on my page. Like that's good
Fair.
stuff, man. Yeah,
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely want to wrestle
absolutely.
it down to a shorter length. Um, yeah, I see that because like if it's only getting whatever, it got like 30 views, it got like 500 views on TikTok. So I think it's an algorithm thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
like YouTube's not even recommending it to me. And then I think that hook, do you want to be famous? You know, it doesn't even occur to me. Of course, like that should be the hook, right? It's like
That's the
so
hook.
yeah,
So,
It,
so
makes
it,
so
it
much sense.
yeah.
What's
Yeah.
up, Ed?
no, no, I want to wait till Chad finishes because
I,
my opportunity is a little bit different because we see things differently. So I want to let Chad finish and then I'll jump
like
in.
I just think when it comes to hook writing, and you're gonna see it, if you choose to, I'm figuring out how much to put this thing out for, but like I've I made this like outline. It's gonna come with video and stuff for putting videos like this out, right? Section 2, execution. The hook is at the top, obviously, right? We all know about writing hooks. You're a musician, you're a speaker, you're a writer. Like, it's so easy to overlook that the very first thing you got to do when you want somebody's attention is you got to tell them, listen to me. And the best way to do that is either to point out something that is bothering them or that they've been looking for as quickly as possible, or to ask them a question. And you asked a great question. Ask them a question that they know the answer to, but don't want to admit. That's do you want to be famous is an answer. That question is a question that I think more than any other question, most people, maybe that one, do you like your family? That's probably another one.
Ooh.
Are you happy in your relationship? Like, these are the questions that people know the answer to, and they look up because they're like, oh my God, am I caught? Did somebody see me? So I think you're right there. Okay, Ed, my bad, man. Go ahead.
I
No,
appreciate it. Thank
you're
you.
good. It's part of the party. So listen, I really enjoyed it as well. There were a lot of themes that I personally resonated with, and y'all probably saw me bobbing my head like I really enjoyed the experience. So here's what I would say just practically. I would bet good money that if you spent $20 promoting this on YouTube or on TikTok or a shorter version on IG, that well, first of all, you can spend $20, you can buy 1,000 people seeing. And I think if you did that, what would happen is it would get enough attention that it would just start moving as is. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, from a thumbnail perspective, literally, if the thumbnail said, do you want to be famous? And you just let the music play and then got into your point, I think that would crush. But actually, as I'm looking at this, I'm curious. It's split into two sort of scenes. I'm curious if you put each of the scenes out as its own video, what would happen? And I think they both would do it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would like Apple Pay you or whatever the $20 for you to find out if you don't have it, because I just want more people to see it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm good for it, but thank you.
I think that's great feedback. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, I think like to sort of summarize all the feedback into it's like, and again, I'm saying this because I think this is where a lot of talented, artistic, creative people hit the wall and then don't keep going. Is they're like, I know I made something good, and you did. Like, now it's just a question of packaging. It's just a question of like, did I feed it to the machine the way that the machine likes it, so it could give it to people the way that they tell the machine that they like it, and that's where you're at. So that's awesome, man. I'm glad that was a fun way. I guess we're at the end here. That was a fun way to conclude. Unless, does anybody else have a burning question? I mean, anything, man. I mean, I'm here for y'all, so please, y'all.
I appreciate it. And thank you for the vote of confidence, both of you, especially offering me $20. I mean, there's nothing more to prove Chad's point. I got funding, right?
There you go. Please, Henry Lawrence, anybody want to drop anything in?
I kind of wanted to like, since we were sharing stuff, like I wanted to like share something that I made for one of my reels, just because like I wanted to get like your personal opinion on it, and also Ed's too. But I'm trying to figure out how I can share it through here from Instagram or something like that. It's just me reading a portion of my story, my short story, as one of my reels or something like that.
Hey, Lawrence, is it on IG already?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you get it in a browser and you take the URL and you put it in the chat, I can play it for you.
Okay, beautiful. Let me just do that real quick. Okay, on my page, I'm here. Got it.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to answer. I see Jamil's question here as well. So, Jamil, like I said, I'm about to offer you guys a really pretty elaborate tutorial on how to make videos that have worked for me and that I see working for other people. And it's quite involved. It's probably like, excuse me, it's probably all told like 40 minutes to an hour's worth of video of me walking you through this stuff. But I'll give you the headings of what's in here, man. Like, and I'll just go zip, zip, zip through them while Lawrence pulls that up. Number one, watch through the eyes of the scroller. You know, like I've said that multiple times here, but this is a practice of empathy. The algorithm is the human beings on the other side of it. Like the algorithm is trying to tap into what they like. And so try to see yourself through someone else's eyes. It takes practice to do that by putting things out, watching how people respond to them, holding your eyes open to read the comments because it hurts sometimes. But like that's the empathetic part of this. Having something to say. It sounds like you do. It sounds like you always do, you know, and I think most people usually do. I think usually what we're calling writer's block is the thing we actually want to say, blocking us from something that we think we're supposed to say. So try to say the thing that you actually have to say. Setup, location, find somewhere where you can speak with energy. Find somewhere that's private if you can. Find somewhere where you have a range of movement. You see, I talk with my hands. That helps me a lot. Like whatever it takes for you to feel comfortable, make sure you can do that in the room. Lighting, we talked about. Face in the frame, we talked about. I always, you know, even when I'm here, you guys might notice me there. I'm looking in this camera, but I can't see you all when I look there. But I'm trying to keep the audience engaged in case this video goes out to a larger audience. I don't want them to feel shut out. Keep your face in the frame. Look at the camera. Background. This background's on purpose. That light only goes on when I'm doing this because I want y'all to feel somewhere comfortable, somewhere that you're safe, somewhere that you can do your art. Audio. Audio is a big thing that separates pros from amateurs across the video production space. If you go try to watch a movie with bad audio and you will think it looks like a student film because audio affects the visual experience. The mic on your phone should be fine. I personally would not invest in a fancy microphone. I'm using the mic in these earphones right now. Like I use the mic on my phone. Clear, no echo. There's an echo in this room, which I apologize for. If I put a big rug down, there would be less echo, and that's easy to do. No background noise, you know, another simple one that people often overlook. Execution. I hope Jamil's still here while I'm just talking through all this. Jamil, you still here?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Eyes, again, focus on the lens. Energy, okay? Whatever will keep you energetically like projecting into the phone. Again, remember, you're trying to stop somebody from their scroll, so your energy has to come through the phone. That doesn't mean loud. That doesn't mean crazy. It just means energy, focused. For me, I get good energy when I'm standing. I get good energy when I'm pacing. I get good energy when I'm moving around. So that's what you want to come through. Energy is also about clearing out all the gunk of like, yes, I'm scared to say what I'm about to say. Yes, my mom's going to judge me. Yes, my friends are going to be weird about it, but they're not here right now. I'm here right now, and you're here right now, and we're talking. You want to get that gunk out of there. Hook, body, and landing, okay? You have a minute to a minute and a half to tell somebody something that they need to know. You have 3 seconds, if that, to get them to even watch the video. So the hook, like we just talked about with Mohi, needs to be something. Like tap on something that they know that they want to pretend they don't know, and you will have their attention. In the body, you got 30 to 50 seconds to say something meaningful. Say one thing. Don't try to say 3 things. Don't try to say 5 things. They won't retain them. Say one thing, but you can say one thing 3 different ways to get it into somebody's head, okay? Landing. Landing is like you came, I told you a story, now I'm going to walk you to the door. And what happens at the door? I tell you what to do next. At the door, I say, thank you so much for coming. This is what you just heard me say. Now please leave and go do this. That's the call to action and the landing. Don't end your videos without a landing point. Journalism stories, news reports end without a landing. This is a movie. Give them a landing. Give them a beginning, a middle, and an end. How many takes? Where's my phone? How many takes? Look at this. We're coming, Lawrence, I promise. The answer on how many takes is up to you, but the answer for me is as many takes as it takes until I feel good about it. If it's something very specific and I know, you know, that I have like, I know there's a there and I'm close to it, I'm going to keep doing more takes. If it's something off the cuff and I want it to just feel natural and normal, one take and get it off. Length, 60 to 90 seconds. That is what I encourage. And then last is editing and posting. I really hope this is all valuable because I'm taking up a lot of time with it. Captions. Put your captions up here. Put your captions up here. Here. That's not where the eye goes. The eye goes up here. Don't put them over your face. The camera needs to see your face. Your face is important. Your face is that's the window into the honesty that you are offering people. Caption the post. Write something real in your caption. Diction, grammar, punctuation, doesn't matter. Just say something real in the caption so that when somebody reads it, they know that something has been said. Time of day to post, whenever you feel like it. Don't think about it. Don't even try to line up when you post with the right time to post. Just post it when it's done. Thumbnail, an image with a clear shot of your face and a caption that says something that is noteworthy. Some people are going to see your thumbnail as a static image. Make sure that it is inviting them into the video. Lastly, after you post, reply to the first 5 to 10 comments, ask questions to get more engagement, and IG is going to tell you everything you need to know about the data on the back end of that post. Everything that they will tell you. I don't know if it's everything you need to know, but everything that is available, go look at that data and pay attention over time to see if there's a story there for you to follow. Okay, those are all the answers I got to you, Jamil. I hope that was worthwhile to you. I feel like it probably was. And
That was great, man.
thanks. The whole thing's going to be on sale at some price to be determined this afternoon, tomorrow, the whole sequence of videos. But Lawrence, let's get it, man. All right. Can we thank you, Ed? Here we go.
Actually share something in celebration of my 100 subscribers on my Substack. It's actually a portion from my short story called My Sweet Lorraine about my friendship and the Black women who supported me during my time in rehab and even until now. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and just start sharing. Since my early 20s, I had felt abandoned by Black women in my life due to my fractured relationship with my mother and older sister. My failed and premature marriage didn't help much either. This all changed the night I called my mother after I went into a meth-induced psychosis. I was sobbing uncontrollably after being set up by someone who I loved and trusted prior to coming to my job on my day off while I was tweaking. Lawrence, listen to me. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved, my mother told me through the phone as tears soaked my face like a wet blanket. I was a mess, but somehow my mother's words managed to soothe me during my dark night of the soul and convinced me to check into rehab the next day. There, I encountered supportive Black women like my counselor, Miss Jesselyn, who showered me with compassion, empathy, and understanding that made it possible for me to heal. My relationship with my mother immensely improved, and we called each other every day. I started reading the book my older sister had sent me a year before about family trauma and how it affects multiple generations. Since I started reading again, I wanted to make an effort to understand Black women more so that I could be there for the Black women in my life. I started with All About Love by Bell Hooks and followed up with Looking for Lorraine by Imani Perry. I knew I would walk away with something, but little did I know how relatable Perry's book about a complex Black lesbian playwright would be to me, a 29-year-old queer Black DJ who had fallen victim to crystal meth. Thank you. I just wanted to...
All right, pause it. All right, Lawrence, This is excellent. I'm gonna go straight for, I think that I have no notes on the writing. Like the writing's excellent. You always share, you always like you're always giving people more than you're always in the 90 plus percentile on your writing. So I'm gonna go past that, right? You're always giving people more than what they are expecting from writing. So I'm gonna go straight to the video. Positives. First of all, I like the presentation. Like I like the shirt. The shirt's eye catching. I like where you're standing in the frame. I like your posture for the most part. Lighting. I think you need more lighting. I think you need clearer lighting on your face. However you can arrange that, whether that's borrowing somebody else's phone and using their light, whether that's finding a ring light, um, anything, a window, can get one of these. Like, but don't spend any crazy money on something, but just like find lighting, find it somewhere. That's gonna set you apart. The rustling of the paper is distracting. Use the teleprompter app. There's a teleprompter app, okay? What I would recommend, I don't use that app. I like to talk my thing out a few times until it's in me so that I can deliver it with like fluidity and sharpness. But if it's more about the specificity of the writing on the page, put it in the teleprompter app so that your face and your eyes are looking at the screen. You really want to be looking at the camera, but if you're using the teleprompter app, look at the screen so that the algorithm can tell the machine, we got a face here, this is what we like, ship it. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's it, honestly. I don't have any more notes on. Oh, actually, this is a big note. This is a big note, and it might be a bump to some artistically, but it is important to me. If you are willing to take the music out, like we are here for Lawrence. I think I think there's a, if I'm honest, I think sometimes we try to hide behind the music, right? We try to add an element that we already know works to our thing so that it'll all work. But the thing you're trying to get people acclimated to is watching and listening to Lawrence. There's another issue later, which is that if you try to boost something that has licensed music in it, you will not be able to, or unlicensed, one or the other, you will not be able to because of the music rights. But that's not even the important part to me. The important part to me is like Lawrence alone, bearing soul, telling his story is worthwhile for us to watch. He does not need a musical accompaniment. Unless it's going to be like Mohit, unless it's going to be him actually playing the music, in which case I do think it is a value add. But otherwise, take the music out. Let's just hear your story. That looks great though. You're doing great, man. All right, gang. Is unless there's anybody else left, what I would love is anybody willing to turn their camera on so I can take a photo. Sean, Henry, I'm gonna get you as well because I think you have a question. Um, I'm gonna take a quick screenshot of this if anybody willing, and just to commemorate, we went from 2 to 10 or 11, which is awesome. Oh, great. Everybody's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cool. Here we go. I'm going to give it 10 more seconds to see if anybody else jumps on. And I will give you all a 3, 2, 1. And I will fix my hair. Sean is here. All right. 3, 2, and 1. Cheese. All right. One more time. I'm not going to cheese this time, but y'all do whatever you want. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Okay. And okay. Before we go, so last person we're going to get to is Henry here, unless somebody else has a question.
I'm good. I don't have a question.
Oh, you're good. Y'all, I am thinking about making these weekly because I want to spend more time with people getting through their stuff. If anybody who's willing, please go leave a comment on the announcement pinned thing in the comment group and just say like whatever, just be honest, whatever you feel you got from this, whatever you want from this in the future, like just whatever you feel, just something to show people that it happened and like they are welcome, it's safe here, that kind of thing. So
Is it on
I
school
appreciate
or on
y'all.
Instagram?
What'd you say?
Is this on school or on Instagram?
Honestly, either, but definitely in school, I think would be the
Okay.
most helpful for others who are already kind of like thinking about it. Some people have messaged me like, "Yeah, I'm gonna join," but I just want people to know like it's safe. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, gang. I'm gonna end this now, and I will see you all in the community. Peace.